It's all about The Sixth Sense celebrating its 25th anniversary. John Haley Joel Osment reflects on old Bruce Willis voicemails, preserving that twist and more for The Sixth Sense 25th anniversary. In a recent
25 years.
interview with Entertainment Weekly, Haley Joel Osment reflects on his experience starring in The Sixth Sense as it marks its 25th anniversary. Osment discusses the intensity of portraying Cole, a young boy haunted by ghosts, and the dark subject matter, which was a departure from his previous roles in later projects. He praises the detailed rehearsals and strong collaborative environment on set, particularly with director M. Night Shyamalan, who emphasised authentic emotional scares over cheap jump scares. Osment fondly recalls working with Bruce Willis, noting the supportive voicemails. Willis left him after the film's release and praising his performance, which contrasted with Willis's more action-packed roles. He also speaks highly of Toni Collette's emotional depth and her generosity in helping him deliver his performance. Osment emphasises the fun atmosphere on set, despite the film's dark tone, and the joy of working with other child actors. He also discusses the impact the film had on his career and cultural legacy, particularly in famous twist ending. Osment reflects on how the film stood out during a time before spoilers dominated media, allowing audiences to be truly surprised. Yeah, I mean, you can catch this interview on Entertainment Weekly's website at ew.com. Sorry. He's always been a guy.
He's a really weird looking guy, isn't he?
He's also seen me though, John. I've always found his sort of his access into fame has been a very unique one for a child actor in terms of, obviously, I think the first thing we saw him in from our perspective was Forrest Gump, playing obviously Forrest Gump's son in a very brief role, but memorable. And I think he's just got one of those memorable faces, and he's sort of the way he speaks. And we saw that in The Sixth Sense, John, in '99.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see his memories with obviously Bruce Willis. And they highlighted this article in terms of Bruce. I think this probably was the first time I saw him in something a bit more drama driven to obviously his action packed Die Hard days. Toni Collette, who's a phenomenal actor, still is. John, one of the most amazing scenes in this film is at the very end when they're sitting in that traffic jam and Cole finally opens up to his mum what the issue is about him obviously seeing ghosts to talk to him. And it's one of those scenes, every time I see it, it does choke you up just with the performance of both, obviously, Haley Joel Osment and Toni Collette playing the mother. Just that final they're finally connecting with each other, and it's such an emotional scene, very impactful, but a great film, John. Mentions obviously the sort of spoiler dominated media which we have now. I think 1999 was probably one of the last years that we could actually celebrate film in that sort of fashion, where you knew there was going to be some plot twist or something like that, but you could safely get into a theatre without knowing what it is. Unless you listen to Radio Clyde back in the George Bow, who fucking ruined it for a lot of people. I don't know why he did that.
He's a fucking bellend, that guy. That's why he did it. He's a bellend. Guy's nearly 60s doing dance music. Mate, you were a shite DJ 30 years ago. What the fuck are you now?
Yeah.
Just
what was it Eminem said about Moby? No one listens to techno.
Yeah. Moby, you're going to get stomped by Obi, you 46-year-old. Bow me. Fuck you. One of my all-time favourite songs, that, incidentally. I love Eminem. That's another guy I love to see live. But Steve, an absolutely iconic film. I remember vividly the first time I seen it. I was just searching up Stir of Echoes because I was intrigued. When did that come out?
Yeah.
And I genuinely think this is round about the last time that I probably get scared by a film. I was about 10 when this came out. Probably seen it about 10, 11.
Sixth Sense, are you talking about?
Sixth Sense and The Stir of Echoes. It was probably the last time I was genuinely spooked by a film. I was a little kid at this time. But just, it was that time when I was kind of transitioning and becoming less scared of shit because I was getting older.
More aware,
a bit aware. But it was an iconic, totally different film. Because obviously Stir of Echoes is a more sort of traditional horror looking jump scare kind of film. I find it interesting what you'd read there, Stephen, about him talking, about how you try to go about the scares in the film, how it was more sort of emotional. It wasn't just out and out scaring for the sake of it. And I got that from the film, obviously looking back at it and subsequent viewings as an older person. The way that you try to navigate it, it's always about passing on, it not being the end, or not being that finality. There's a degree of something that lives on, and and humanising that process, and this little kid having to see all the trauma of these people who have passed on and try to help them.
Yeah.
I think there's something in that message that's, I don't know, it's got legs to me. It's not just scaring, oh, there's a ghost, fuck, run. Oh, it's scary. It's deeper. It's a deeper film, and also you get that at the end with also the Bruce Willis character.
Yeah.
That's the real punch, because you went through the whole film with this little kid and him also acting like a almost counselling figure with a little kid. Is it his dad? Is his dad? No, isn't it? No, he's not connected.
He's a counsellor,
Yeah, he's a counsellor. He's almost counselling the kid, and he's fucking dead himself.
Yeah.
Spoiler if you've not seen it.
They help each other, John.
They help each other, and you almost get the sort of, I don't know, the reward of that at the end when the Bruce Willis, can't forget his name in the film, finds out he is himself dead. That's the payoff right at the end. Not only is it a shocking reveal for the audience, for the character, but is it a concept, what they've been exploring for the entire movie? That's the brilliance of it, of Shyamalan. Yeah. So I thought that stood out. Obviously, Bruce Willis, man, what's going on with this guy? I mean, it's just tragic, really. The guy's only in his mid-60s. He had aphasia, I think it's called, or asphasia. I don't know the name of it. Now he's got dementia. It's just shocking. This guy was always a huge figure in my childhood growing up. Some brilliant films. I love The Fifth Element. He is the Fifth Element alongside Gary Oldman. What other one?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, I just grew up with this guy. Yeah. So it's unbelievably sad to see what's happening to him. Just a titanic
John,
figure in that era.
I can remember 1999 very clearly, and I know that obviously Bruce Willis came from a sort of comedy TV soap sort of background, and I know that a lot of people were shocked when he was cast in Die Hard, and you know, you don't look back and regret those decisions from the casting directors for putting him in that role as John McClane, because certainly Bruce Willis didn't look back after that. He appeared in numerous action films after that, out with that franchise, always came back to it and delivered so well in the Die Hard franchise, which I don't think I think the last film was poor, but it was just because it was just a time that those films just didn't sort of sit well with a modern audience. But looking back at the first maybe 3-4 films in Die Hard were fantastic. When he was appointed, I can't remember, I think it's Malcolm was the character's name in Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
It was obviously a doctor. I was surprised myself. I was like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to like him in this kind of role, but
Dr. Malcolm,
he definitely knocked it out of the park. But again, John, you're getting into that cinema, and I can remember, obviously,
that's my one regret, Stephen. I never had the pleasure of watching that in a theatre. That would have been stunning.
You talk about obviously getting into that, and most of the audience members, I would say probably 99% of the audience members didn't know. Obviously, there was going to be a twist at the end. The ring falls out of the hand of the wife, and I've said this to you before, John. It was one of those rare occasions where a Scottish audience actually react to something really major in a film in such a vocal way. The gasps and that fear when it happened, because the penny just dropped. I'm
actually getting goosebumps just hearing you speaking about it, because it was such an iconic moment.
I was with my dad, and we were just sitting, and you just heard it.
Yeah, I remember watching it.
And we were like ourselves, as if. And then you're trying to figure it out in your head. No, wait a minute. He had a conversation with his wife. He talked to Cole. Yeah. He talked to him. We saw them talking. But then
they reveal it.
Shyamalan does it brilliantly, and he says, no, I'm going to actually show you the bits you did see, and the bits you think you saw don't exist. Yeah. Really well written, well structured as well in terms of shots as well, and the angles that you used. Couldn't get into the sort of cupboard under the stairs. Mm-hmm. It was blocked with a table, but the shot you saw didn't reveal the table blocking it. So the colour red was significant as well throughout the film as well, all the clues. But this I'll say kid, because he was a kid at the time. I thought he was amazing in this film. I don't know what age he was, John, 9 or something, 10 maybe.
He must have been young, yeah.
He was very young, and he carried that film
he really did,
well.
Stephen, because even though Bruce was in there, and
Sterling Stanley.
Yeah. He is the sort of driving force in the film for the vast majority of it, and a lot of the scares are structured around him. I remember the tent, the little kid, I think the shotgun, or was it the vomiting? Yeah. Obviously the road accident one as well.
Come on, see my dad's gun.
Oh,
you
God.
see the back of his head all blown away.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Horrifying, man. It's just such an intelligent movie, and it's something, obviously a huge part of why I've loved Shyamalan since then. And he's delivered some wonderful films. I'd argue never one of this standard. I think that was probably
hard one
standard.
To follow, yeah.
It's hard to believe it's 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, really, because I do remember it as well when it was out.
Yeah.
Really interesting to see this guy's perspective. I'd need to go and read the whole article.
Yeah,
because it does
I
sound
would advise
interesting.
it is. It's really good.
Just really the stuff with Bruce as well. The fact he's kept voicemails and whatnot, that'll be something that's really, special in years to come. Obviously, with what's happening with Bruce, to keep that and remember how good a guy he was with him, and obviously probably mentoring him on the set. I'm just looking. I'm not going to mention it. But, I will mention it. The suit jacket. I'm immediately taken to Paul Slane and his dad when he signed for Celtic and he's shaking the chief executive's hand. Obviously, the suit jacket's going over his knuckles. I was laughing at that. You need to get that tail, mate. That's unacceptable. You look smart, that aside. Still an iconic film.
Yeah.
Also, what's happening with Bruce is terrible. Another thing really that would come out of this is what has actually came of Haley. Because he was so good in that. And has he had a career since then? What has he really done? Because
I've seen him in a few things, John, but very under the radar things, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think the last sort of big film I saw him in was AI with Jude Law. I think that was 2001. So it was still on the sort of riding on the success of The Sixth Sense at that point. I'm not saying he wasn't capable or anything like that. Again, he knocked out the park in terms of performance.
It's a shame you never see the kid stars in the main make the jump. You think of Leo, you think of Christian Bale.
Yeah.
You think of...
It's rare. It is rare.
I mean, there's not many make that jump. It's a shame because there's been some brilliant actors as young kids.
I think it's studio manipulated, though, John, more than anything. A lot of studios see the kids that they serve a purpose and then they kind of throw them on the scrap heap, which is sad, because there is a lot of talent. I think this boy... I'm saying boy, he's not a boy now, he's a man, but certainly he's a talent. You don't just fluke, he was in 2 big films over the last 2 years. So he's still a young guy. But yeah, I mean, it's what happens. I'm not saying it's right, but you're absolutely right, John. There's a handful of child actors that have sort of came through that and became really successful adult actors, but there just isn't enough.
I'm just trying to check the audio when I can. Because I'm not going to say it and I can't do it. I'm just paranoid that whenever I touch my actual microphone, I've seen microphone, no microphone. Get a couple of comments. I've probably missed them. The sense that you're probably not here anymore, AK King. But looking forward to Bollywood movie, the Dream Boy, The Dozer Dream. Sounds interesting. I do love dozers, man. I've been watching Dale Phillip again. I went down a rabbit hole with him and he loves going to sort of Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries and India and whatnot. And he's been in India recently and it's just such a... I'd love to go if I had the bollocks to go. And I couldn't do it on my own. I'm just not even going to sit here and lie. I just couldn't do it. But he doesn't give a shit and he's going about drinking out of watermelons and he's eating dozers and all of that. And it's just such a... Not watermelons, coconuts. Just such a different existence entirely. It just looks... I'd love it. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, walking along the beach and whatnot. But then you have to work at some point, and it wouldn't be as fun working in 40-degree heat. But the way he traverses, it's just fucking stunning. It's just when you said Doza, it came to my head. Dale Phillip. Street 2 is not out. Is not out in Prime. Yeah, we wouldn't watch Street 2 without seeing Street. Yeah. Anyway, it'd be pointless. You need to see the first film before you see the second.
It probably is still in some cinemas, to be fair.
I think it is.
It's probably not going to be on Prime for a while. Prime, I don't even know if they've got the rights to it, but.
And then also Bruce Willis's bad luck. He went to work even though he was dead,
That's a meme, I've used that on Facebook years ago, It's true,
Yeah. There's a power to that message as well, that even in death you have to work. Yeah. I think they'd have you working in death as well, the
death
bastards.
And taxes, the only 2 things that are guaranteed in life.
Yeah.
John, I don't know if you've got anything else to say on this.
No.
Before we move on to our final topic.
Just an iconic film, really. And mad that it's 25 years ago. I'm not going to go off in too many more tangents, but I was watching Julian Edelman, formerly of the Patriots. He's got a podcast, and it shook me to my core. He spoke about the double pass game where they beat the Ravens, and I think it was the AFC Championship. It was 9 years ago. It fucking shocked me. I remember that like it was yesterday. 9 years ago. Time is fine. It's flying far too quickly.
But folks, we're going to actually move on. But before we do, we'd like to know your thoughts on The Sixth Sense. What was your thoughts on that film's in its initial release? Were you old enough to see it when it first came out? Did you go and see it in the cinema? Did you know about the plot twist? But I certainly would advise reading out all about Haley Joel Osment interview on Entertainment Weekly's website. It's very in depth. He talks about his films, his career since. Very interesting topic of conversation. But we're going to move on, John, to